a little bit of March Madness, not only on the basketball courts, it's college basketball month, but also on the racetrack with the Cars Tour season opener, Southern National Motorsports Park, Kenly, North Carolina. We're the Dillners, Bob and Blaise, and we're going to be doing this little debrief session after every race we attend with Short Track Life this year. We hope you enjoy it. What should we call it?
I don't know. I mean, do you have an idea? If not, we can leave it to the fans.
Leave it to the fans. The debrief. During dinner, we're at Buffalo Wild Wings in Smithfield, North Carolina, doing this one, and this will be intended in future weeks to be live, so you can ask questions as well. A lot of questions coming out of the Cars Tour season opener, but Mike Hopkins left no questions. Neither did Deke McCaskill. Any questions unanswered because they were dominant in today's performances.
They were. I mean, the pro late models ran 100 laps, the late model stocks ran 125. But personally, why do you think it was so cool, and what's the story behind Mike Hopkins winning this pro late model race?
The interesting thing is, he wasn't even on the entry list. I looked and I'm like, wait, Mike Hopkins is supposed to be here? He wasn't. Last minute decision for him to come down here out of New England. He's a runner and a winner in the Pro All-Star Series. He's also run the Granite State Pro Stocks. Comes down here. He's hooked up with Port City Race Cars, Gary Crooks, and they were working together. They worked together up north as well. And he dominates this race. I mean, goes right to the front, sets a blistering pace. I thought he was going to burn up his tires. Well, you know what? I was wrong, dead wrong. He just crushed the competition. But there were some other good stories in that pro late model race coming out of this one as well.
I mean, a blistering pace for sure for Mike Hopkins, which led to a lot of late race restarts. You had Gavin Boschel and Katie Hettinger up there, two of the biggest names in that race. Katie Hettinger coming off that big win in New Smyrna. Gavin Boschel, obviously known for his dirt racing, coming over the pavement side a little bit. And they had a shot at the win at the end. They lined up 2 and 3. Both didn't come up with the results they wanted. Gavin Boschel ended up getting hit in the corner, dropped back to 16th. Katie Hettinger still rebounded for a top 5 finish, but those were two contenders that just were there, but not close enough.
And what stunk is we actually went to the front stretch because we're recording all this to be put up on our YouTube channel, Short Track Life, and we missed the contact. But from what I understand from a couple different people, it appeared maybe Mike Hopkins checked up just a little bit, bottled everybody up, and Justin Kreider might have, popped the 5-car of Gavin Boschel a little bit, and then the rest was history. I mean, it was just hard racing, and good run today by Justin Kreider. You talk about an underfunded team. That's an independent team. They don't really have a lot of money, but they do a darn good job at that. And Gavin Boschel, some progress for him from that 100-lapper pro late model race at New Smyrna Speedway. Good run there, and then backs it up. Should have finished second here today, and then unfortunate circumstances at the end of the race.
I mean, you said it best. New Smyrna Speedway was a learning curve for Gavin Boschel. He ran a couple pro late model races last year, was really working on it throughout speed weeks, just making steady gains. That last night was his best night. Then he comes here, has a shot for the win on one of the final restarts, riding in second place, qualified 4th today, showed speed. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of his asphalt schedule this year.
I'm looking forward to the rest of the late model stock car season too, because you talk about a lot of cars. I think there was 24 for the pro late models and 32, I believe, for the late model stock cars. That's what the Cars Tour was founded on, the late model stock cars, and they put on a spectacular show as well.
A lot of people might thought that defending Cars Tour champ Carson Kloppel would have just taken off with this one from the start. He lost the lead pretty quick, actually, and Deke McCaskill went to victory lane. What do you find interesting about that one now that we're talking about late model stocks?
Well, the funny thing is the Cars Tour is known for one thing, and that's the youth gone wild. The youth is, the cream is rising to the top with the teenagers, and it's a 45-year-old dude going to victory lane at his home racetrack, Southern National. I mean, he's got the grandstands, a portion of that named after him. Deke McCaskill, his brother Bradley, very good from around this area as well. And I just love the fact that this was Deke's 10th win in the Cars Tour Late Model Stock Car Wars. He's a former champion, a good guy. I think that's what I like about it. He's not aspiring to be something. He's just wanting to be involved still. And he told me he doesn't know what he's going to do. He hopes to run every race, but family, life, work might get in the way. Who knows? But really kind of one of those heartfelt stories to see Deke McCaskill in victory lane in race number 1 for the late model stock cars of the Cars Tour.
Truly such a good story. You can see from his crew and family that were there. They were all so pumped up for him. And in any touring series, and especially the Cars Tour, in my opinion, what makes a great series is a mix of veterans and young drivers. And that Cars Tour late model stock is the definition of that.
It is. And if you look at the guy that finished second, Carson Quapple, last year's champion, he is definitely going to be in one of NASCAR's Big 3 series either next year or the year after.
One of the sharpest looking rides in the field too, by the way. I love that paint scheme.
I know you like that. Ryan Millington, by the way, led a bunch of laps in the 15. I think that was really good for him. He faded a little bit at the end, but how about the run by Caden Honeycutt? I mean, Caden Honeycutt, a former dirt tracker from Texas, a second-generation race car driver. His dad ran, late models at Five Flags Speedway and all sorts of other areas, in the pavement ranks. But I'm impressed with Caden in anything he drives.
I mean, we mentioned some diverse drivers this morning, and we left out Caden Honeycutt. He's one of the most diverse short track drivers you can get. Started 10th today, made his way up to 3rd. Every time you turn your head on the track, he was already trying to make a move on somebody else. Truly an impressive run.
And he finished on the podium with basically a wrecked race car too. The front end of that machine was just all mangled up. I will tell you that another guy that really always impresses, but was fun to watch today, was Bobby McCarty in the number 6. I think he was high as 5th at one point, finished, I believe, 10th. He was just all over the map, but, Southern National, fantastic facility. There's a lot of talk about, is this, Michael Diaz's last season, doing a semi-full season at the racetrack? I certainly want to see continued success for Southern National because it is just beautiful. But I think at the same time, Southern National, we need to see a little bit more aggression out of these drivers because some people might say, it was a one-groove racetrack. So was Bristol back in the day. But you know what? There was the old bump and run at Bristol. And I think that's what we need to see back at Kenley, at Southern National. It was definitely a bottom-dominant racetrack. High banks, but nobody went upstairs really.
Yeah, a lot of the times you saw both for the late model stocks and pro late models, whoever had that outside lane would often get shuffled back a few positions. And like you said, when they all get lined up, then they start the bump and run, which creates passes. But outside lane was not the place to be for sure on restarts today.
Hey, we were at Florence Motor Speedway last week with the Smart Modified Tour, and now the next stop on the Cars Tour is at Florence Motor Speedway on March 25th.
Another great short track. I love going there with the Smart Tour. Last week, right? Yeah, last
Hard
week.
to keep track.
We go to so many events, and we'll have cool content and social media coverage for a bunch more this season, and truly enjoy doing it as well.
Yeah, speaking of the Smart Tour, next weekend, Lonesome Pine Motorsports Park in Coburn, Virginia. We're looking forward to that. Your sister, my daughter, raced there back in the day in the old Pro Challenge Series. So we'll have a lot of coverage coming up here with Short Track Life. We've had a lot of coverage from ASA as well, and just having a blast living the Short Track Life.
For sure. For the Smart Tour, just like the Cars Tour, you have that mix of veterans and young drivers. You have Burt Myers, who was oh so close to that first win last time. Caleb Petty trying to repeat as the series champion. Matt Hirschman, is he going to come to Lonesome Pine next week? Because it doesn't look like he could be stopped either.
He's supposed to be there. So, Big Money Matt, you might see him again next week in the Smart Tour. But remember, like this video, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. Short Track Life, it's just a new beginning for us. And it's all about the world we love, short track racing, because we're all living the short track life.